Welcome to Never Too Serious with Scott and Dave. I'm Scott.
And I'm Dave.
Here we go, Scientology.
Oh man, this is the best.
I love this topic.
This is like real life, but not real. I mean, it's just so bizarre.
It's hard to believe that it's real.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this is something you should just be reading about.
Uh-huh.
But so you have put together a pretty nice format that can help explain to people that don't know at all about it.
I got lost in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to say right here, right now, that I want to make sure that you don't get stuck. I don't want to hear this. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to sign up to Scientology because, getting to those high levels could be pretty neat. You get taken care of pretty good.
I'm a cheapskate, so I'm not sure I could afford to get into Scientology. But I tell you what, the more I've read about it, the more I am interested in learning more about it.
You could do a GoFundMe to my next level, guys.
There you go, yeah. Well, hey, before we get too far along, we have a special guest, Amy.
What?
Say hello, Amy.
Hello.
Amy likes this topic too, so we brought her on the show to talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, this put me down a rabbit hole for sure.
Yep.
Interesting, though, right?
So interesting. So mind-blowing that people can get sucked into it. But then again, it's just so much.
I think
so
that's
much
the beauty of
information.
it, though.
Yeah, I will say Amy is my wife, and so we've gotten to watch a lot of these shows together, and I watch a lot. A lot of information goes in my ear and out the other. Hers actually kind of stays in her head, and so she can remember it a little bit more. But before we get going, I will have to point out that tomorrow is my 19th year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations. That's a long time.
That's yours?
What? Did you say?
I said it's your anniversary? Or is it our anniversary?
No. This is your anniversary. Trust me.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yep.
Sweet. You better talk to Robbie. May give you a call later and tell you what you need to be doing tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Sounds romantic. You get Robbie involved?
This isn't going to be good.
No. Well,
I'm going to have to talk to him for sure.
I know of a church around here you probably could go to, and because they have books on marriage written by L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh. I don't have that kind of money.
No, and I'm not loaning it to you. Okay, let's get started. I want to talk a little bit about the founder, L. Ron Hubbard. What's his name? Lafayette? Ron Hubbard? That's what the L stands for?
Oh,
I guess he didn't like that name.
I never knew that.
Yeah, Lafayette.
That's a terrible name.
That's
no wonder he went with just the L part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think eventually his followers just call him LRH.
Yep.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, you're not worth the time and the syllables, man. That took me about 7 seconds to say your name every time. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, or the Commodore, I think is what they call him too. Yeah. I want to read a quick quote here from L. Ron Hubbard, because he wanted to describe what Scientology was, and this is this is a quote for him describing Scientology. He says, "A civilization without insanity, without criminals, and without war, where the able can prosper and honest beings can have rights, and where man is free to rise to the greatest heights, and those are the aims of Scientology."
All right.
A man, but not a woman. A woman can't do it.
No, here we go.
Yeah, and notice I was about to say something, and she cuts me right off. See, there's reasons for that. I was going to say, sign me up. That sounds great.
It doesn't sound that bad for that quote.
No.
But I think that's
good.
where you kind of get the little toe in the water of this cult.
You're like, ooh, that sounds great.
Yeah, sounds pretty good right off the
Check
bat.
that out.
Sure.
Uh-huh. Well, Scientology started off as a self-help organization. At least that's what that was the claim.
They didn't realize that the self-help was helping Scientology. It wasn't like
it was paying
you help
for it.
yourself. No, you're helping us out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's an interesting story how L. Ron Hubbard kind of got into this idea that he wanted to do self-help, because his early beginnings was a military guy and a science fiction writer. And we talked about, he's got the Guinness Book of World Records for publishing over 1,000
That's right.
Wow.
books. I don't know if it's
Science fiction books or total?
He's got
total publications, over 1,000 of them.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny how many of his eventual followers didn't put two and two together
Right.
about
Right.
a science fiction writer.
It makes you wonder if a lot of his like higher ups in Scientology ever read his science fiction books. Because I will say I tried to do the audiobook for one of them.
Which one?
One of his like really.
It wasn't Battlefield Earth, was
Yes.
it? Oh my god, I watched that movie the other day. What a waste of my time.
I got like I don't know 10 minutes into the audiobook. I'm like, no, I can't do it. Turn it off.
Dave, did you watch that movie?
I don't know.
Years ago, and guess who starred in it? Take a guess. Who starred in that?
Was it Forehead?
Forehead. Who is Forehead?
Forehead.
Rihanna?
No.
Dave.
It was John Travolta,
I don't remember
who is a Scientologist.
Ooh. I guess I don't even know. I guess I don't remember the movie.
Oh, it was terrible. I remember clips of it, but
I was thinking of the movie that Rihanna was in.
Oh yeah,
What is
Battleship.
that? Oh, Battle. See, I had a battle.
That one wasn't very good either.
No,
No,
it was
it wasn't.
not. That was terrible. See, that was the other connection. So
Yeah, Battlefield Earth was
sorry, Forehead.
one of L. Ron Hubbard's books, and it was about this alien civilization that came down and conquered Earth and basically almost made Earthlings extinct, the human race extinct. And so there's a few humans left over that sort of went back to more primitive behaviors like cavemen.
Yeah.
And they weren't super smart. They didn't have technology. It was very like cavemen. And so this other alien race comes down and they are trying to take the resources away from Earth, and they end up enslaving the humans and making them do things for them, and like mining and doing other stuff. But it's just such a horrible storyline. The writing in the movie was just really difficult to listen to because they were using terms that would be considered more modern human terms. The language that they were using, it was just like, come on, you can't like be more creative.
I
See, now
don't
I wanna watch
remember
it.
much of it. I just remember the like costume design was not good. His makeup was not good. Like I remember thinking, wow, this is for John Travolta being like the star was a very B movie. You
So
know?
did Lafayette have a say in how the
No, so
how the show went?
no, because the movie was made after he died.
Oh,
I think it was
gotcha.
made in 2000. Was it 4 maybe?
Actually, do you know when
Really?
when he did die? Out of curiosity, because I knew.
80. I thought it was like 86.
Oh, okay. I
1986.
thought I just was for some reason thinking he was hanging around a little bit longer than that.
No, his story is very odd because he went into hiding for quite a few years for tax evasion, and the feds were looking for him.
Well, and he was sick too, and he didn't want his followers knowing he was sick.
Yeah, something was going on with his teeth, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
He
Oh God, he needed some dental work. Oh, so bad.
just creeps me out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, so let's go back a little bit of history about
Yeah.
L. Ron Hubbard, because he was in the military. He was a Navy guy, and he was in charge of a couple of different, I don't know if they were battleships, but they were ships that he was in charge of. And he told a bunch of lies after his military days about his successes within the military. And one of the funny stories is that he was ahead of one of these ships off the coast of Oregon, and he fired upon a floating log in the water, thinking that it was an enemy sub.
Oh.
And he got in trouble because he dropped a whole bunch of like, depth charges and shelled
Oh,
things.
he was just.
I mean, he was
going after
yeah,
it.
he was going after it, that's for sure. And then eventually he got discharged because he accidentally fired upon a Mexican island. I didn't even know Mexico had islands, but evidently they do.
Well, would they?
I'm not a
Would
world
they
traveler.
do? They had to have it coming to him. I mean, he wouldn't like launch a shell out there for no reason at all. I'm sure.
I don't know
Right?
what his reasoning was, but he wasn't supposed to do it.
I bet you they had a log, and they're like, "Nope,
That looks familiar.
taking it down."
Taking down the log. I just have
gosh.
to. I just have to show. I mean, I'm not going to show the podcasters, but Battlefield.
Oh yeah, there's a good picture of
Oh,
Now
Travolta.
it's coming back. It was made in 2000.
I don't know if I've seen. If I've seen it, I don't remember. But oh yeah, that's.
It was a really
interesting.
bad movie.
Very bad movie.
Yeah, if I wouldn't see that again.
Yeah,
If I
yeah.
saw it.
And there were some famous actors in there too, and even they just the writing was so poor and the special effects were so poor that I don't know how you could act your way out of that stuff.
Mm.
You know, no matter how good you were, it was bad.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Little side.
Well, I appreciate it because
sidetrack there.
I'm getting to again. I've dabbed, more than just my toes in the lake of this Scientology. It's just I don't know about a lot of how they what makes things connect. I've heard all these stories, but maybe not necessarily in order or what begat what, like how that come about.
Well, L. Ron Hubbard, it turns out he was just lying about a lot of stuff.
Sounds like that's the beginning of his.
He's a
just did it his whole
salesman.
life.
Yeah.
At heart, he could sell you anything, and that was how it all started. He
Boy,
just wanted
howdy.
to make money, really.
He sure did
And-
too.
And do it tax free.
Yeah, he wanted to keep it all.
Yeah.
Score.
He wanted to early on. So he went through this military time and got discharged. And it turns out he actually went back to the military people and asked for psychiatric help, and they denied it. And he made claims to other people that he had all these injuries and all this different stuff,
Really
but
regret
really,
that now.
he wanted to go back and get mental health,
Really?
or mental help, and I think that maybe had something to do with the direction that he went after, because he ended up getting involved with this guy. Was his name Jack Parsons? Jack Parson, he was a scientist at the Jet Propulsion Lab, sort of a part of NASA, creating jet engines and whatnot. And he was into the occult, and he was on a mission to find this goddess character and impregnate her with the Antichrist.
Nope.
Oh,
Did any success? Do you know?
I don't think there was.
Oh, that's good news.
So far, I mean, this is a few years later.
Close call there.
That was what, 1950 something. Right?
Yeah, that was prior to, I think, even earlier than that, 1940 something, and this was sort of L. Ron Hubbard's sort of tiptoe into this idea of creating an organization that's kind of cultish,
Right.
But he was a science fiction writer, not like a really successful one, but he wrote a lot of stuff, and he thought that a good way for him to make a living was to jump on the mental health craze and the self-help craze that was going on at the time. And he didn't want to pay taxes on his income. Well, how do you avoid taxes?
Oh, let's make it a religion.
Exactly. Let's make it a religion. And that's what he pursued. And originally, that's what he pursued with the government, and the government denied it.
Right.
Said
Several
no.
times.
Mhm.
Several times.
Yeah. And part of the reason is that he was taking the proceeds from his self-help books for himself. And you can't just do that.
You can too. It says so right there on page 28. You can do that.
Well, that's what he thought. Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is kind of the early beginnings of it. Well, he's a writer, and so he makes up stuff. He's got a history of making up stuff, and he's
And
got a
just
Guinness
goes
Book of
with it.
World Records.
But
of
I
it,
mean,
too.
what level of narcissism do you have to? I mean, because obviously, I can't say it's obviously, but to me, it seems that he was trying to create something that would surround him, that would keep him up high and make him powerful, know.
Do you remember? I can't remember 100%, but he had family issues, like childhood traumas and stuff like that. Wasn't there something?
It's possible.
I thought I remember hearing that. I don't know if that's
I don't.
right or not. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Like maybe his father wasn't around or something.
That's a good possibility. A lot of these people have psychological problems. Have single family.
Well,
single
having a
parent
father
homes
around
and
makes
stuff.
a difference. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, That's why our kids are so perfect.
Why Amy's kids are so perfect.
That's right.
Well,
Kids.
This guy right here, he counts.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, that's what.
I was like, wait a
was like,
minute, what? Is there something I don't know?
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Is there something I don't know?
Things get revealed at the 19th anniversary.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Well, we only signed a contract till the 20th, so
That's right.
one more year
One more
and it's
year.
and
over.
I'm out of here.
Got to reevaluate.
That's right.
One of the first self-help books that L. Ron Hubbard created was called Dianetics. You guys familiar with that?
I am.
I've heard of it. So again,
It's really a self-help book, but there's some weird stuff in it that's really not very scientific. In fact, like the psychiatrists of the day, the brain science people, the human behavior people disagreed with what points he was making in the book, saying it wasn't scientific. And then he sort of launched into this anti-psychiatrist sort of mode. And later on, as he started developing this religion, he made it very clear that those people were like the bad people.
Yeah, they were the suppressives.
The suppressives, yeah.
Suppressive people.
Yeah. To me, you're already starting to formulate a way to control your people,
Right,
because
now
now you've got a separation of the people who actually might be able to talk some sense into you.
it sounds like you better get some guys in there with some sticks and regulate some fools. Give some people some attitude adjustments.
Well, I think they took that on themselves, because I think later on they started beating their own people, right?
Well,
Yep, they
you just
did.
kind of have to once in a while. They get out of line.
Yeah. Not even beating, just like psychological torture, putting them into, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a place in California.
Like the Hole.
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
called like the Hole. Or,
Yeah,
and it's like a house that a bunch of people live in. And they have to like
Solitary
lick
confinement.
the
or
floors clean. Like it's
Yeah.
weird. Like and you have to pay them to be there, of course.
something. Right.
Yeah.
It's-
Because they're helping you.
That's
so
what
you gotta
that's
pay
what we're
for
talking about.
it.
It was so bizarre that these. I hate calling them powerful, but money comes power. And but a lot of people that are worth millions, they get out of line, and then they
End up in-
they end up getting in trouble. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, these
like
really
they're
rich
a
people are
bad
cleaning,
dog,
cleaning toilets
Yeah.
with a toothbrush.
and
Yeah,
you would think
really.
they would go, "What the, dude? I'm gonna hire somebody to kick your butt. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna sit here and just watch it." And they have a hold on people.
But don't you think that's the funny part? Not ha funny, but the interesting part that we from the outside can look in and go, how could you have ever even fallen into that?
Yeah, how
know.
could you get sucked into where you're willing to do whatever they tell you to do?
Being born into it, I could see.
Because you don't
It's
know
just-
any
you-
different.
It's just,
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Because you start accepting whatever the adults tell you.
well, you don't,
Yeah.
and it's the only thing you've ever
yeah,
known.
yeah,
So
because
it just, it's easy. And
they
kids
indoctrinate them so young.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Dave and I appreciate you listening to the show. Please take a moment and write a review on Apple Podcast or podchaser.com. And since Spotify doesn't currently have reviews, simply telling your friends about the show would be great too. Also, you can always reach out to us at our website, nevertooserious.com, or via our socials at the NTS Podcast. And seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, thanks again for listening to the show. About, you were saying that narcissist sort of characteristic, and in addition to that, there's a big monetary force behind what L. Ron Hubbard was doing, because first off, he recognized that he could make a lot of money by doing seminars and teaching classes and selling his books, and he could make even more money if it was tax-free.
How do you know that anybody would give two dangs about what he has to say, that anybody would walk
Because
up
he's a
and pick it up?
narcissist and he thinks everybody thinks that he
It's
has
just
something
it's
great to say.
just having confidence. Just confidence will get you there. Is that it?
I guess.
Yeah, charisma. I think there's a lot to be said
That
about
is-
people
yes.
who are
it's just-
charismatic.
it's just crazy. It's just.
Well,
People are
It would just be.
attracted to them.
It would be
I guess.
so. It's be so. I'm sure somebody has wise to dissect how people just draw into that
Mhm.
stuff. I mean,
I think there's a whole area of science that studies these
Yeah,
sort of
sure.
behaviors. But the quote that I read early on, you're like, well, that's not too bad.
yeah.
Because that's how they get started.
Right.
Because
right.
they don't start off with this story of Xenu.
Right.
Should I talk about Xenu?
like what? Punch and pie? There's gonna be punch and pie. I'm going in.
Some South Park. I
Yeah.
watched some South Park episodes about Scientology.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
so funny.
man, that would be
It is.
so great to watch.
It was so funny because, to be honest, that was one of the first. I watched a few different videos of people who came out of Scientology, and they were talking about, we didn't know the story about Xenu until we watched South Park.
Oh,
is that-
really?
That's right.
Oh,
Mhm. Because Xenu is supposed to be a secret within their
right.
religion.
Yeah, they don't want anybody knowing.
See,
That's like you have to pay a lot of money to get that knowledge.
Yeah. Well,
They're not just going to give it to you for free.
so
they did now.
part of the structure of Scientology is you have to go through all these different levels, and information about the religion is revealed to you as you get through these different levels. And this story of Xenu doesn't come out until
OT3.
OT3, which is
way up
way
the
up
ladder.
there. It takes years to get up there.
And
So-
hundreds of
so-
thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So
Hundreds
since you
of
said,
thousands.
I'm not telling you to go through what each one is, but what is an O2-3? And
Yeah.
so what's the first? What I'm not telling you don't have to label it, but what's the first step? O2-1 or O1? I mean, what is it?
Well, so OT is a
OT.
it's short for operating Thetan.
Yeah.
So an operating Thetan is part of this story about Xenu, and it'll make a little bit more sense as I read that story. But you start off sitting in front of what we might look at as a counselor, and they talk to you and they ask you questions. And all of these fears and anxieties that you have are these little Thetans in your body. And so operating Thetan level is them basically grilling you, recording the session, and trying to get rid of these Thetans. And you have to do a bunch of studying. You got to go through these auditing processes for them to then consider you achieving that next level. And then they reveal different parts of their religion to you as you get to these levels. And what do you say? OT3?
I think it's OT3.
Is where the story of their what they consider as the creation myth.
How many levels are there?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot. I think there's like 15 now.
So many.
They keep growing. They keep growing.
They do.
Yep.
And I don't even think that he did the OT3. Like, I don't even think he had the story of Xenu until after he had started.
Yep, he didn't make up that story until the religion had already been established.
He's like, oh crap! People are asking questions. I better
give him something really good. Oh, hey, this is in my book.
It's like so. Who did you meet down there on the other side of the pond?
It was revealed to him.
Apparently it was Xenu.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think he was in L. Ron Hubbard was in an interview one time, and he was saying that he just has closed his eyes and it had been revealed to him. He had concentrated and thought about it, and it had been revealed, which is what he does with all of his science fiction books. Right?
Okay.
Isn't that how he comes up with this stuff anyway?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. He holds his
He's
breath.
got a really good imagination, right? That's how can you write science fiction with not having a good imagination?
Yeah.
To be fair, he does. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm giving him crap
$1
because
billion
I just don't,
worth of imagination.
I just don't like that. I
Taking
don't
it.
feel like that it's given anybody any freedom. I feel like it's taken
No,
from
it's-
people, but I will have to give him some props for holy crap. This guy had put together some stuff, and not only that is it's so strong that it's growing even stronger after he's gone.
Yeah, you have to admire what
the
he did.
toothpicks that he built this
Right.
huge giant thing on
Right.
is holding up. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and it helps to
So-
have a second in command perpetuate the
The lies.
the lies.
Yeah.
David
It just
Miscavige.
seems like so much work.
You look,
Right?
It is.
Doesn't it seem like so much responsibility to have to like convince everybody
How about just
all the time? But I mean, being that he was a narcissist, he had to have believed his own lies
You
at
would
some
think-
point. You know, he
I
knew
really
it was a
wish
lie,
I
but
could-
he believes it.
I really
because
wish I could
he's
dig
told
in
it
there
so many
because
times.
because you would think that does one like the leader of all the lies, they probably keep it real to themselves,
leader.
right? You know, I mean, I really wish you could dig because I'm sure, you know, I believe that somebody. I believe in the theory of, you know, you keep telling lies and you will eventually believe it. I absolutely do. So I do believe that that's probably what has ended up. But
Yeah, but how can it get this
how
bad?
about this? At least I hope that's what happened, because I would really feel bad that it make me feel even worse about him if he was out there knowing that he was
Like he was a true con
manipulating
artist.
so many people. Yeah.
Well, like the episode we did on televangelists.
Yeah.
Some of those guys know that they're con artists,
Yeah.
and some are full-on believers.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a good
Speaking to that,
example.
because I listened to the podcast about the kung fu stuff.
The fake kung fu.
Yeah, and that was one of L. Ron Hubbard's things, is he could cure himself with his mind. Like, if you have heartburn, you can cure it with your mind. Like, all your ailments, all your sicknesses, you can just cure that with your mind and going clear. And
If you can get rid of the Thetans.
right.
But at the but I was gonna say at the same time, but people that have illnesses, they say that that you're essentially, I don't know what they would call it, sinning. What do they call it when you're doing bad? Going against the
Yeah.
I don't know if there's
You basically get
Oh.
prescribed auditing.
Yes. Yeah,
Right.
like you're talking about the congregation. Like if somebody gets
do they
sick in the
essentially just call them sinning? Like if they get caught
like
doing something bad,
if they're like, oh, I'm got cancer or something, then they're like, oh, you did something in your past life, it's now coming about, and this is what it's manifesting as, and you're gonna have to audit in order to
get over there and tell us everything you know.
right. That's
Start with your
And they
social
believe
security number,
it.
bank number, and
and they believe it, thinking that that's going to be what cures them. And a lot of times, from what I've learned, they don't even go to regular doctors.
Yeah,
They
there's a
just-
famous death among Scientology where this lady was going crazy, got in a car accident. Scientologists took her back to the, wherever, the church,
Yeah.
whatever, and it never really gave her medical care and ended up dying.
Yep.
And a lot of it was because, they really believed that they needed to audit her back to health.
Right.
It's a really sad story.
It is.
Let's talk about Xenu.
Okay.
So it's a
The
hard story for
galactic
me to
warlord.
remember. I did write some notes, and the basics of this creation story is that 75 million years ago,
sure, I was there.
there was this galactic overlord. And this galactic overlord, his name was Xenu. And there was this big confederacy of, I think that's the right term, of planets and civilizations. And this guy was in charge of it. And he ended up basically imprisoning a bunch of these people. And he freezes them, puts glycol, and I think that the story actually says that they put glycol into their heart and froze them in time, boxed them up, put them in these airplanes, the spaceships that are actually like the 1950s DC. I can't remember what model.
Was it DC-10 or
Was it-
something?
Yeah, I might have written it down, but anyway, evidently their society was very much like America 1950s. So they fly these bodies of these prisoners to a planet called Tegiak,
Oh,
which Tegiak is actually our planet Earth.
is it?
Yeah, it was just named something else evidently that many years ago.
It's not.
Coming
it's good
from
for me
L.
to
Ron
know
Hubbard.
what the real name of Earth is, so I'm going to call it
Tegiak.
that from now on.
Uh-huh. So they fly him to Tegiak, or Earth, and they dump all these bodies into volcanoes.
Oh.
And then on top of that, they drop H-bombs on top of the volcanoes so that they're really dead.
Have H bombs?
Yeah, because it's a 1950s version of who we are today, 75 million years ago.
Right. I'm impressed that they
Think about how
have that.
creative that
That's a
story is.
big wormhole. I mean,
Yeah.
75 million
maybe
years,
that's
but
the new
it's
part of the
same-
religion. There's a
Maybe when you get to OT1, you find out about the worm.
yeah.
Has anybody even made it to OT1? I don't think so.
Leah Remini, right?
No, I don't think. I think
she bailed out, I think.
at OT3 when she found that out.
No, she went on further, I think. I was listening to Joe Rogan.
Maybe.
Yeah,
because
I have
her
a funny-
mom begged her to keep going. She was like, what the hell is this shit?
She needed more answers.
She literally was like, I was watching one of her shows and she was literally like, Mom, what the hell is this shit? This is not.
Yeah.
No. And then her mom's like, no, just keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah, it'll all be revealed to you.
Yes, it'll be revealed.
Yeah,
in
and then
the
tell
next
me what it is.
$150,000, and you'll find it out. That's, I think, why people keep going is because they're just like, well, it'll be over the next hill.
Mm-hmm.
If I just get to the next level, I'll find it out.
I totally agree.
It'll all be revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
totally agree. So this is where the story gets good. So they blow up the volcanoes with the H-bombs, and all those prisoners had what they call Thetans. These Thetans are kind of like the soul, the spirit of those people.
These things that are in the volcano?
In the people that got burned and then blown up. They have Thetans inside them. Okay, so these Thetans get released.
More.
That's the only thing that's left is the Thetans, the made-up soul.
Yeah.
So here's where the story kind of makes a weird turn, and that is Xenu then captures all of these Thetans. Now, how he did it, I have no idea.
It's Xenu. Duh.
Oh, that explains
he
it.
probably did it with his mind, Scott.
I was
he was
wondering.
probably like, if
Xenu
I think it,
has all powers. Yeah.
So, or like a big vacuum cleaner. They had big ones back in
It's like
1950.
Ghostbusters.
Exactly. So they capture all these Thetans, and then this is where it gets really weird. The Thetans then get put into this brainwashing machine. It's not like a washing machine, but it's where they get their brains washed.
Oh, okay.
They describe it as sitting in a movie theater.
Like mainstream media. Gotcha.
Yeah. No, there were clips of that. So they have it's in a theater, and they have these 3D goggles because it's a 3D movie.
Okay.
And basically these Thetans are getting indoctrinated with all of the fake stuff, media, religious symbols, psychiatric work, all of these things that are considered by L. Ron Hubbard as fake, essentially.
fake news.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're evil.
He described it as a fake reality.
Right. Which would be their...
And who's giving this information to them?
Who's giving what?
Who's giving the Thetans who's brainwashing the Thetans?
Xenu.
So Xenu sucks them all up in his jetpack thing, and then he puts them in front of a theater.
To indoctrinate them into the fake reality.
Honestly, I knew about Xenu very, not a whole lot. I just kind of knew that he was like a galactic warlord thing. But I haven't heard this.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this part.
Where the Thetans really come in is that the Thetans now are all brainwashed, and these are spirits. The Thetans are the source for L. Ron Hubbard, the source for all of fear, anxiety.
See, I've got a few
all
things
these-
on my back.
Yeah.
People got monkeys. I got Thetans.
You probably need some auditing, dude.
I do need a knee machine.
So they use auditing as a way to basically get rid of the Thetans. So this whole backstory is just to get to, you have these souls in your body that is the source of all of your anxieties, all of your fears, all of your anger, all of these things, and auditing is the way to get rid of them. That's the premise for all these things. Now, he didn't come up with this story until much later in his religion. So this stuff, again,
He was like,
how brilliant
I
is
gotta
this
keep
cult
going.
when you start off tiptoeing in with self-help, and then at later stages in the religion where you're getting more and more indoctrinated, they spring this one on you.
Yeah, like, oh,
Well-
crap, I got to get married to a sea monkey, apparently.
Well, people
Yeah.
he wanted to keep people going, so up the ladder,
But, you know, they
and so he had to keep making up stuff for the next levels, and
well,
Do you guys want to listen to a clip?
yeah,
I have
do.
a clip of Leah Remini
Oh, I
talking
love
to Joe Rogan about this thing.
I love Leah Remini. She just when she talks about this stuff,
she is very passionate about
yes.
it. She
Her
is
story
no
is-
BS
yeah.
from her.
Yeah, she's a strong woman.
Oh man, they messed with the wrong girl. They thought that she was just going to go, because the whole thing started with she had asked where David Miscavige's wife was at Tom Cruise's wedding to Katie Holmes. And that's when they were like, you don't need to ask questions. And she was like,
Oh, now I'm asking 20 more questions.
Yeah. So they pissed off the wrong girl. She's not somebody that just goes away quietly.
Okay. So we got this clip, Joe Rogan talking to Leah Remini, and she's talking about how she kind of got introduced to this concept of Xenu and how it's such a big secret. And her mom was the only one that could go in because she'd already passed the level that she was at. So her mom knew about it. And there's this idea that, like, when she found out, she wasn't so sure about it. And then she couldn't go and ask anyone because it's a huge secret.
Right.
And she couldn't research online.
Right, because that's a big no-no. Internet is a big no-no. They don't want people finding out about this stuff.
But there weren't people out there at the time who even had reached these levels to even spill the beans about it.
Right.
So there was no information on it anywhere.
Right. I love her reaction, what she says to her mom.
Yeah.
I love it.
We'll see if this clip has that reaction. Here we go.
If you were about to go to OT3 and then you went online and you investigated what is OT3 and then you read a bunch of stuff about these little beings in your body and then asked your mom would have to lie to you.
She would lie to me, as she did.
So after you got through this, what made you do 4 and 5?
Because there's always the carrot of, like, just wait.
These
are
okay,
it'll
and
make
by the
sense.
way, here's
4
what they
and
do.
5.
They set up that you're the auditor now. So you're auditing these things in your body. You're now the boss. So they tell you, get your hat on. Like, it's your job. You don't need to believe anything. You just need to audit them. So you need to do your job as an auditor. That's what they're called, auditors. People who are the ones who take you into session in Scientology.
Right.
So you feel like you're in a leadership role. So you're doing these things a favor. You know, and you're like, well, maybe it's true. I don't know. I mean, I do sometimes hear voices, you know, like, you know, you have a moment with yourself and you're like, I might be really kind of crazy. So you're like, maybe this is an answer. It's sick because it speaks to a side of you that wants answers about life, you know, and then you're like, no, this is some crazy shit, man. There wasn't even people what? No, you know, it listen, you believe what you want to believe at the time.
Right. So does it feel to you at the moment like maybe if you just keep going, all the pieces will fall into place, then it'll make sense?
Yes.
It's like, I'm confused now, but if I contemplate this and I really think it over, eventually I'm going to receive enough information where this is all going to be like, oh, I was a fool. I didn't understand.
Right. So, for example, one time I had talked to a friend about it. I said, you know, I heard something about some Xenu shit. She pulled me into Celebrity Center so fast, into a secured room, and she handed me my ass. She said, don't you ever say that word outside a secured room. I'm writing a knowledge report on you. She said, I'm writing a report on you. Swear to God. You never say that word out loud
This is serious
in a room that's not secured. Okay? And never say it again. So she wrote a report on me.
A knowledge report.
She wrote a knowledge report on me. I got sent to what's called ethics, which is like the Justice Department of celebrities, of Scientology. And they said, they brought me into another secured room because they have to get somebody who knows this information. And they said, never, ever say this, never confirm it, never deny it, never give that information out ever. Just never discuss it. Just say, I've never heard of it. You sound crazy.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Xenu was a little bit of an oopsie.
Right. I know. And could you imagine, like, I don't know how long ago that was, but obviously way before, like, you know, Scientology was this huge.
2017 is when this interview was.
Well, I'm just saying, like, when she got that knowledge report and all this stuff, you know, because nowadays, I mean, everybody, I mean, how could you not know anything?
Well, here's the other funny part is that, remember, all these people aren't stuck on campus, if you will. They go work.
They're like, they're like regular lives.
And then how do they not
watch TV
I don't
and
know,
see something
sit there at lunch and then you hear the other buddy sitting next to you going, man, did you hear about these Scientology freaks? You're like, you're like, what? You know, you think they'd pick up something, you know?
It's amazing that what they've done. Because what was it? You were saying $1 billion. You know, I think that they're over $2 billion in overall assets and cash value,
right?
And like over 90% of it's in properties.
Well, and a lot of it is because a lot of their congregation have taken out loans. So that billions of dollars that they have is because everybody else, all their congregations in debt for it.
Trying to do like the fast track up, take out a loan.
I think Leah Remini said that she spent millions of dollars because when she started becoming famous and getting good jobs and stuff, doing King of Queens, she was paying for her moms, she was paying for her, she was paying
But I think
for
she was proud of it too. Like
Right,
she
at
probably
that
even
time.
donated and stuff. I think because
and
she was super happy
constantly-
about being a part of, and I know a lot as people today is still about being a part of this
Well, their goal is
program.
is to have this peaceful world where there's no crime, there's no warfare, all this stuff. So there's like this. This idea that we could have this utopia, and you just need to keep doing the classes and become better, get rid of the Thetans, keep giving us more money. The other thing is the side of they don't pay their employees.
I know.
They work almost for free.
Almost.
Right.
They give them like $5 a week or something. It's crazy. Like, and this was a while ago, so I don't know what it is now. It's maybe $14.72.
$15
But
an hour.
they're probably taxing them on it though, right?
Yeah.
But and then a lot of these people live well. The Sea Org, which is kind of different. It's kind of like their clergy of the religion.
It's the staff side of it,
right? But it's like if you were to think of the people that run it,
the reverend, the ones that keep the books,
I just don't understand what they do all day. They're working like 12, 14-hour days.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing all day?
I know what they
You
do.
sit
I've
in
seen
front
it.
of a
I've seen it
computer?
before.
No, they don't do.
They're counting cash and weighing cocaine. That's what they're doing in there. I mean, what else do you? That's a valid question. What are they doing?
They don't allow drugs.
No,
That's one of
no
the funny
drugs,
things.
no
No,
drinking,
but they'll
no
sell it to the
nothing.
sinners out there, the non-believers.
Yeah. I guess there's always a side benefit to all these cults, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this first episode. We are going to do a part 2, so stay tuned for that. And until we see you next time, take care. Very safe.